Hello, Angie Gerber here, and welcome to my podcast, Awareness. Once you know, you can't unknow. A place you can come to start thinking and shifting your thoughts to finally create the results you truly, truly desire. It'll shift your mindset and give you strategies to get out there and get it done. Let's get started. Hello, and on today's episode, I want to talk about the difference between your senses and your higher faculties. Before I found Bob Proctor and all of this information, I had never heard of my higher faculties. I've heard about the five senses because that's what we were taught in school, but our higher faculties, such as imagination, intuition, perception, memory, reason, and will. Those are our higher faculties. So what is the difference? I know Bob used to say in some of his trainings that there's not much difference between a pig and a horse and man as far as how we're constructed. The brains, the organs, heart, tissues, lungs, all of the stuff, you can find them both in a pig and a horse and man, as well as the five senses. He said what sets us apart and why man is so much more evolved is because of our higher faculties. You know, when we were in kindergarten, at least I know when I was young in my education, what did we learn? We learned hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. And that is all you need to know. Those are your senses. What we weren't taught is that we have our senses in order to enjoy life, so that we can hear the beautiful music that we love to listen to, so that we can see the art that makes our heart want to explode, so that we can smell the smell of fresh cut grass or our favorite flower or maybe your soulmate's cologne or perfume, that you can taste that meal that you just cannot even believe how it melts in your mouth because the taste is like nothing you've ever tasted before, and touch that soft, soft blanket or baby's skin, or the hand of the one you love. Those are our senses, and we have those to enjoy life to its fullest. And yet, we are also living from those, and that's not what we were intended to do. We were intended, and what sets us apart from animals are our higher faculties. And yet we are never taught those. Imagination, intuition, perception, memory, reasoning, and will. And I'll run through those quick. Imagination. Our imagination is probably the most powerful of all of our faculties. Nothing has ever been created that was not first imagined. We first create things in our mind before it ever becomes something in our hands or that we see. Everything around you was first a thought before it was ever created. Everything is created twice. First in the mind, and then it shows itself in reality. The magical ability of imagination is inside of all of us. It helps you see future possibilities in images and mental pictures. Walt Disney, Thomas Edison, the Wright brothers, they're all great examples of people who use this faculty to create things that once they had only seen in their mind's eye. Intuition. Intuition is your inner wisdom, your inner knowing. Although many people confuse intuition with a sixth sense, it is one of your mental faculties. It is that gut feeling you get that's trying to tell you something. It's the ability to understand a situation or a thought through your instincts. Some people say it's God or your higher power or source or spirit or the universe talking to you. So start listening to it. Perception. Perception is your personal point of view. The only half empty, half full analogy. Perception is what you believe to be true. It's your belief system and it determines your attitude. Your life is a compilation of your perceptions of what's going on around you. We have words in the English language, and they can mean something entirely different to one person than they do to another, because it's through our perception and what we know or don't know that we assign feeling or meaning to things. I mean, take dogs and take cows. One part of the world, cows are sacred and dogs are eaten. Take another part of the world. Dogs are sacred and part of our family, and cows, we butcher them and eat them. It's truly a perception in what you're growing up as. Memory. Memory is your historical past. It is retaining past experiences, and you can use memory, your muscle, to your advantage, but unfortunately, many people dwell on their past mistakes rather than their past successes, and they make decisions based on these mistakes, and this is how self-limiting beliefs are created. Reasoning. Reasoning is an essential part of the mind. It is the logical faculty that allows you to think and plan. Reasoning makes sense of things and uses logic to draw conclusions. Your reasoning capabilities must be stretched in order for you to think beyond your current thinking. And your will. Will is the ability to laser focus on an idea or project, to really concentrate. Your will includes self-discipline and willpower. This is a very powerful faculty for staying in the game and goal achievement. So knowing that you have these 6 tools, how can you use them to help you make changes you want? You know, the first thing you must ask yourself is a question: how would the person I'd like to be do the things I'm about to do? Again, living from your goal already achieved. Albert Einstein had the perfect quote. He said, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant." And we've created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Now, the servant is our 5 senses: hear, see, smell, taste, touch. And the intuitive mind, our higher faculties, that's our sacred gift. And again, he says the intuitive mind or our higher faculties, the sacred gift. And the rational mind, well, that's the faithful servant. Our 5 senses are here to serve us. And we've created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. We were never taught about our higher faculties and more or less how to use them. Starting with imagination, that is a lot of what I've learned from Bob Proctor and from all of the teachings, and how 1 to 3% of the population are making 97% of the money because they know about their higher faculties and they know how to use them in conjunction with the laws of the universe in order to get whatever it is they desire. It is a true thing. And I am diving so deep into it and just learning more and more every day. And I do know this. I started with my intuition years ago. I just started testing it, and I'm getting really good, and it's becoming a strong muscle. It's like anything. You have to use it, you have to practice, and you have to get better at it. You know, imagination combined with your will, that's where a lot of magic can happen. So if you can get really good at using your imagination, and by strengthening your will, being able to hold an image on the screen of your mind with your imagination of what you want your big goal to be, that C goal that you don't know how you're going to get it, you just know you want it. If you know how you're going to get it, it's not a big enough goal and it's not worthy of you. And it's connecting to that and raising your vibration as often as you can to connect to that goal with your imagination. It's not living from the outside in. It's living from the inside out. And regardless of your current circumstances, where you're at, what you have in your bank account, what's happened in the past, letting all of that go. And through your higher faculties, in your perception of what's happening, your will, the imagination, and really honing in on what it is that you want and focusing on that versus what you don't want and already may have. That's where you can break out of the cycle of what you put out, you get back. Because if you're not where you want to be, which you may be successful, and again, that's fantastic. You should be so grateful for where you're at, regardless of if it's where you want to be or not. You need to find gratitude with where you're at. But you should not be satisfied. We are here for expansion, so never be satisfied. And start looking at your higher faculties. I'll start diving into these more and more. But even just starting with perception, again, your personal point of view. How do you view things? How do you label things? I always talk about if you're looking at a situation from your perspective and you're not looking at it from the other person's point of view, or you don't get up out of your seat and walk around the other side of the table and look at it, or take out that whiteboard and just write down whatever comes to mind with no limits, and really start understanding that you are living your life from your current perception of things and how you view life. That's what your life is. So if you're not liking where you're at or what's happening or what's in your bank account, I really, really encourage you to look at your perception, because it's how you've built where you're at so far that's gotten you there. And if you're not where you want to be, start learning about your higher faculties. There's 6 of them. Dive into one at a time. That's what Bob had us do. Dive into one at a time and start working with them, start strengthening them, start understanding them, and really living from the inside out with each and every one of them, because that is what sets us apart. That is why we are the intelligent race, species, right? Some would question that with a lot of stuff that's going on, and yet it's true. And it's because of all the chaos we can ensue or all the peace we can. It's because we have our higher faculties versus our senses. We have a reason where we can reason away something or we can reason towards it. The will, our memories, which will have us either dwell on our mistakes or our successes. The perception. Everyone's perception is so completely different. Some are similar, but no one is alike. And your intuition, listening to that inner voice, listening to spirit, source, God, universe, that feeling, that gut feeling that tells you what to do or what not to do. If you aren't listening to it, I would just start here and there testing it out, and it will strengthen as you test it. But it's a beautiful thing, and you can find a lot of joy in there. And if you go for it and it doesn't work, again, remember, any failure isn't bad. Failure is just feedback for you to go and try it again. The only time you ever fail is when you quit or walk away. But take what you've learned and do it again. Different direction. Take a different perspective on it. Take your memory from what's happened and the good parts about it and leave the mistakes behind and keep going. We only get one shot as far as we know at this life. And why waste it? I wasted so many years caring what other people thought or, and it's kind of interesting. Like Bob said, he's like, you think so many people care so much about what, what you're doing, or, if I do this, they're going to think that. And if I say this, they're going to think that. And he said, the truth is, they're not even thinking about you. So do what you want to do and quit living life to please other people or to hide in your own shadow. Are you the, role? Are you the star in your movie? Are you the casting star? Or are you a extra where you just show up here and there and you don't play a significant role? You're just taking the back seat to your own life and just letting it happen to you instead of for you. Think about that. Think about how you show up and what you could be doing, even if you take a 1% chance every day. Get 1% better every day. Do 1% different. After 1 year or 365 days, you will not recognize who you once were if you really commit to doing that. Success, discipline, dedication, it's all, in the end, a compilation of small steps that equal this big movement within you. So just think about that. What are you reading? What podcasts are you listening to? Who are you talking with? What are you watching on TV? Where are you getting your information from? Just sit back, and instead of just doing what you do because that's what you do, because that's what you've been told to do, or it's just you've been doing it for years, stop it. Stop it for 1 minute and just think. Stop and think. We don't think. More than 90% of people don't think. They just get up and do, and it's like an automatic pilot. And I encourage you just to slow down, stop, and if you truly, really start thinking and took the time to think, you would astonish yourself. It's a lost art, as just like the higher faculties. So with that said, I just really appreciate you joining me again today. Please share this, follow it, subscribe to it, like it, comment, all of that. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, we'll be diving a little bit more into the higher faculties as well, because I think it's so very important. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this, to bring a lot of this information that I found out that I didn't know till I was in my 40s. And I'm guessing a lot of people out there don't know it either. And it's life-changing. 1 day at a time, 1% better at a time, at a day. So until next time, have a good one. Thanks for spending some time with me today. And if you like what you heard, feel free to share, like, subscribe, follow, do whatever it is you do. I'd love to get this out to as many people as possible, because it truly all does start with awareness. Once you know, you cannot unknow. And it changes everything. And of course, if I can help in any way, I'm here and happy to do so. Until next time, make it a good one.